Buddy, welcome back to Mike Drop Sports. If you're not watching live, you can watch it later once it downloads. Let's talk Steelers and let's wait for some people to get in there. We're going to talk about all things Steelers, everything going on in the world of the Pittsburgh Steelers here as of late. Let me adjust the screen here. Get the chat. There we go. All right, guys, we're going to talk a lot of things. Steelers Stadium Authority, I believe that is. Stadium Authority backs the Steelers' bid to host the NFL Draft. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about the Pittsburgh Steelers working out a couple players. We're going to talk about that. What's up, JD? Welcome, my friend. Yeah, we're going to talk about two players that they worked out on Monday that have connections to Arthur Smith. There's some wide receiver coach candidates out there. We're going to talk about why you shouldn't hold your breath for one Hines Ward, things of that nature, and anything else you guys want to talk about. So we're going to dive in. Let's dive in with this news that just popped up about 1 hour ago. What's up, Sean? Sean's in the chat, guys. Let's talk about this news that just popped up 1 hour ago that I saw, and that is the Pittsburgh Stadium Authority backs the Steelers' bid to host an NFL draft in the city of Pittsburgh. At the stadium, the city of Pittsburgh formally approved a bid by the Steelers to host the next available NFL draft. The city stadium authority voted unanimously Tuesday to enter into agreements with the NFL and the Pittsburgh Steelers marketing groups, municipality agents, and everybody else that supports it for a possible bid in 26-27. So that's some news. That could be exciting for the Pittsburgh Steelers. What's up, 24K Lightning? Thank you, brother. I appreciate you too, my friend. Yeah, so that could be big news for the Steelers getting to host a draft. That'd be really cool, especially for those of us that live in proximity to be able to go to attend an event like the NFL draft. I think it'd be really cool to go to that first round and check it out. I really think that'd be awesome. Let's talk about Frisman Jackson being gone, guys. We did some content on that earlier today, and I like it. I don't think he had the room, man. I think the room was a little bit out of control. What do you guys think about Frisman Jackson being gone now, and the Steelers now searching for their next wide receivers coach, and who could that be? We talked about Hines Ward. That's like a rumor that people were talking about. I don't see it happening, guys. Pittsburgh insider Jerry Dulac reported, don't hold your breath on that it probably wouldn't happen. I don't even think he's on the interview list, guys, to be honest with you. But Jackson, I just felt like didn't really have that room. I'm not sure what you guys thought. Put it in the comments what you thought about Jackson's performance over the last 2 seasons as the Pittsburgh Steelers wide receiver coach. And do you think he had control of that room? Do you think that he was able to get those guys going and keep them on track and keep them in the right situations? I just don't. They look lost at times. I really, really look lost at times, and I'm not sure why. I saw them miss routes. I saw them do things that normally you just don't see out of Pittsburgh Steelers wide receivers. You're used to good players that do what they're supposed to do. I mean, you over the years, Santonio Holmes, Hines Ward, Plexico Burris, guys like Jericho Cottrey, and things like that. Guys that come in and know what the hell's going on. Sean puts, glad to see his departure. Bye, Felicia. The receivers had bad attitudes at times and didn't give 100% every single play of the game. Exactly. You saw guys give up on blocks. You saw guys do things that just shouldn't be in your character as an NFL player, a team guy anyway, on a team that's looking to win and move on and go far. And those guys didn't look like that at times. I thought they buttoned up toward the end of the season, and I thought that was more of a Mason Rudolph effect than anything. I'm not sure what you guys think. JD puts with the new OCA run first guy worries me that receivers may pout at times. I've been worried about that too, JD. I've been thinking of that too with the attitudes of our guys, our top two guys right now, George Pickens, Deontay Johnson. Now, at the end of the season, I got to give him credit. Pickens had what? One touch that Baltimore game, and you never saw him do anything crazy. You saw him stay within what he himself and didn't get crazy and didn't act stupid. So That was big, and I thought that that was a big step in his maturity and development. Even with Deontay catching that big pass, going 70 some yards for the score across the middle for Mason Rudolph, I thought that he understood the dynamic of that football game, didn't get pissed off, and I thought that he really handled it well. But we saw him over the course of the season have trouble doing that, and that's an issue, man. That is a real issue in my eyes. I'm not sure what happens down the road, but that's just maturity. Hey Nova, what's up? Nova Racer, with a QB that refused to even dress to be the backup, it's easy to see where the receivers got their attitude from. Amen. I can't argue with that. Exactly. And I know that he tried to say, Kenny did, that, the big explanation of, if I was healthy enough, I'd address blah, 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 and getting pissed about it. But it seems to be that he didn't want to play and he didn't want to be the backup. It really did seem to be that way to me, at least. Just his tone, the way he acted during that interview. At least that's what I thought too. I don't know. I don't got much faith in Kenny Pickett, guys. I don't know about you. You guys tell me what you think. Do you have a lot of faith in Kenny Pickett moving forward? I really don't. I don't think he showed us enough. I know he did well in the fourth quarter. I get that. That's everyone's argument. But what did he do in the first three quarters of a football game that gets you excited for a year three of Kenny Pickett? What gets you pumped up for that? I'm finding a hard time finding that juice, man. Finding that ability to get fired up for Kenny Pickett. I really, really am. Now, Arthur Smith's coming in. Is he going to be able to develop Kenny further? Is having a more run-heavy, play-action pass centered offense going to be the answer for Kenny Pickett? Will that give him the comfortability to stand inside of the pocket? I don't think so, because play-action pass, what are you doing? You're turning your back to the defense. And you got to have some nuts to do that in the NFL, in my opinion. You're turning your back to some big-ass dudes that can mow your ass over in a heartbeat. And you got to have some balls to do it. Everybody just ain't doing that. So it's a skill, man. It's not as easy as a lot of people think. You got guys like Kirk Cousins who really run it well. He got some serious balls on him, though. Kirk Bangs or whatever they call it. No, but you could see Jenny after Mason came in. What a spoiled brat attitude he has. I don't know. I don't like him, Nova, to be honest. I'm kind of on board with you, brother, in my opinion. Jackson Duckworth. Kenny is pretty good, in my opinion. What, Jackson, what do you think makes Kenny good? What makes you think that we should be excited for him? What parts of his game do you really like that you think that he does well? Put that in there. I'm not being rude or anything. I'm just asking what you thought, just in case we're all missing something too. Because, I want to know everything everything that you guys know. I don't know everything, so put it in there. Let me know what you guys think about, what skills that he does really, really well and what makes you excited for him. JD, the team reacted differently when Mason was in there, so wonder what the receivers think about Kenny. Exactly, dude. No doubt. When you got a guy to come in there, and he did really well, the receivers got confidence in him now, especially whenever you weren't getting that confidence put into Kenny Pickett by those guys. In the fourth quarter when things were frantic, I thought it worked and everybody was trying to hustle and win a game. Okay, that's just backyard football, and he did okay at that. But man, it's just that timing, throwing people open, not being able to see the defenses, missing just blitzes and things, and not being able to call out protections the right way, not being able to switch and audible out of plays. Now, I will give him, we didn't get to see him without Matt Canada except for that one game. Whatever, I get that. But I'm not sure, guys. It's just not something I'm pumped up about. Robert Road, I was Kenny guy, but Mason won me over. He won me over too, man. And I wasn't a Mason guy. But Mason has, let's just think of this. Kenny Pickett has what, 25 plus starts, guys? 25 plus starts, I believe. I'm guessing pretty good, I think. 25, something around there. Mason Rudolph with half the starts and half the team, I felt like, whenever he was in there the first time. I don't think he had the amount of weapons and stuff that he does now. I thought that he had he did. He had a winning record. I thought that he was okay, but he was never given enough time to ever develop and become comfortable. And there we go. But again, you saw Mason Rudolph have that ability to get in there and be a leader. And he really shined. And I just really liked it. He really won me over, guys. And you saw him with half of what Kenny had. I think he's developed pretty good, and he's not gotten the chances Kenny's gotten. Sorry, guys, I had that brief little interference there. Let me catch up. Nova Racer, he had one good year in college, and that was his fifth year. Exactly. You should be pretty well good, set and good by your fifth year in college, in my opinion. You should be pretty damn good with that offense and able to really run that efficiently and effectively, especially with a guy like Jordan Addison. You're playing at Pitt. I get it. It is what it is. If Kenny doesn't do that fake slide, what are we even talking about him? I don't know. I don't know. He did okay. It's just one of those things. I'm not sure. Kenny's just not my. I'm not the biggest fan of Kenny right now, for sure, guys. Kenny isn't a good leader. He was handed the job way too easily. Exactly. And we saw Mike Tomlin do that before with Kendrick Green. You hand guys jobs without any type of fight. Guys don't have they're not getting that fire in their belly. They're not having to work for anything. And that's something you need, especially at this level. You've been entitled probably your whole life being the superstar throughout every level. You need to have a little adversity. You need to be able to come in and fight for something. I think that adds character for sure. Sean says Mason won me over also, guys. Yeah, no doubt. Charles Warren, I think they need to give Mason a shot. Kenny doesn't stretch the field in the passing game. And Charles, I wonder too, is that because Kenny Pickett just doesn't have a big enough NFL arm? I think, yeah, guys, we saw in the offseason when Kenny was working out and he was delivering those deep balls on some of these little Twitters and shit like that. We saw him Instagram, stuff like that. We saw him throw the ball deep. Okay, we get that. But there's a difference throwing it inside of an NFL game. You got to have some zip on it. You got to have some pop. You can't just lollipop the ball up in the air, man. It's just... it don't work, man. Not when you're facing guys that can run super fast and have a defensive backfield. They're going to catch up to you. You got to be able to have a little zip on the football. And I think Mason Rudolph has a way bigger arm than Kenny Pickett. Mason Rudolph has the biggest arm in that building currently, in my eyes. This fan base was ready to run Pickens out of town the week before Mason came in. You can see the difference in how all the players acted after they got a real quarterback in. Yeah, Nova, I agree. Pickens was not performing well. And then you saw that first night with Mason Rudolph, and he torched him up. I mean, Pickens had a career game, and man, a game that, a lot of people don't have. It's a rare game to have something like that. The best have those games, and I thought he did really, really well. Hold on, guys. Let me get a drink. All right. C. Arthur Smith not mentioning Mason in that first interview was unnerving. I agree. I don't think he spoke of him once. I don't think so. And that may just be because he doesn't know if he's going to have him. So, I mean, why hype a guy up you don't even know you're going to have yet? And two, guys, these franchises, let's be real about this. They play a game. This is a big money game they're playing, man. And they're playing this game of, let's not hype up a guy that we're trying to sign. They're not going to try to hype shit up because they don't want to have to increase his value. They're not trying to increase that player's value. And when you hype somebody up and you talk and you say all these good things about them all the time, that's going to increase their value because other teams are going to see that, going to hear that, and they're going to bid for it. They're going to outbid you because they're going to want a piece of that for sure. Nova says when the players on the team say they want Mason as QB1 and they're on the field and at practice every day with these guys, it says a lot. I agree. Your peers being on board with you, your peers wanting you to do things, your peers wanting you to be the guy screams out and speaks volumes, man. In my eyes, it does. And I think it does to you all also. And that's in any career in the world. When you have the respect of your peers, you're valued in that position. You're valued at that job. And it's no different with an NFL quarterback. It probably means more there than anywhere. It's the most important position in sports, if you ask me, being the quarterback, being the franchise quarterback of an NFL team. It's the hardest, the most important. It can change the game the most. I mean, it's definitely one of those things. And That's what I was saying. I don't think the Steelers want to hype Mason up because they're going to try to re-sign him. We'll see how it goes. Robert Rowe, Mason can make throws without having to step into them, and Kenny cannot do that. No, I agree. Kenny doesn't have that zip on that football. He doesn't. You see him throw. Just say, for instance, let's talk about that first touchdown pass that Mason Rudolph threw to George Pickens against the Bengals. How elementary that pass may have looked, that was a big time NFL throw, guys. He zipped that football into a nice spot, and it was perfectly on target, high velocity, no hesitation. He hit his back foot and delivered the football. That was a big time NFL throw, and anybody that argues that, I'm not sure you're seeing the same thing we all are, but that was a good throw, a better throw than it looked. It looked elementary, but it really, really wasn't. That was a hell of a throw by Mason Rudolph there. Beer Malls. Pickens has got game. I didn't like some of his reactions early on. I definitely understand his frustrations. I agree. I understand him too, Beer Malls. I really do. But he's got to learn to bottle him up. And I thought that he did that later in the year. I really do. But again, it all reverts back to him having a leader on that football team on the offensive side of the football. And I think they lacked that specifically. No damn leadership. And you ain't going nowhere if you're an army of leader without a leader. You're a leaderless army. You're not going to do shit. And that's just the way it goes. No doubt about it. That's another reason why we're talking about the Steelers wide receiver coach search. That's another reason why I don't know if Hines Ward would be a good candidate, and people were talking about that. Remember when he talked shit about Pickens and Deontay? I guess not talking shit, but just said like they were bad teammates kind of deal. I'm not exactly sure what the quotes were, but along those lines, he kind of said some things about Deontay and and Pickens. So maybe that isn't a good fit. And you know how those guys are, though. They get a little fired up and they're a little antsy when we were talking about how they get frustrated, and they might not take well to Hines after those comments. Beer Mall's definite baller, though. Give that dude a ball thrower, and Pickens will be a game changer. I think he could be one of the best in the league. I really, really do. He has the skill set for it, the athleticism. He can do things others can't, and that's what separates you, man. He can do things other pro athletes cannot do, and that's big. Nova Racer, once a QB starts looking to run out of the pocket every play, it's almost impossible to break that. Kenny has been hurt a lot, so he's getting gun shy. That's another big one. Good point, Nova. Kenny has had, 7 injuries, 6 injuries? We did a show on it, and we talked about some of his injuries, how badly he's been beat up already. That ain't all the offensive line's fault. It's not like that offensive line that played in front of Big Ben and played in front of Lev Bell. That's another thing we'll talk about a little bit. It's not like that. That was like a different change of pace type of offensive line that could do a little bit of different things. This offensive line ain't built to guess where the hell you're going to be. Things got to be schematically sound. And when you're bailing on clean pockets, you're not calling the right protections, it's not all the offensive line's fault. And Kenny Pickett bailing and going and running, you're going to get banged up, man. Definitely. That's what they talk about these running quarterbacks, how they don't necessarily have long careers because they get banged up. They're out there getting hit. Let's talk some more here. Foot's Big, how's it going? What's up, bro? How's it going? It's the same line that Mason played behind. I agree, and Mason did better. That's what I mean. That's exactly what I'm saying. Mason didn't bail on those pockets. Mason gave the offensive line a sense of security in knowing what he is going to be doing, and that is big. That's huge. That the offensive line didn't have to guess. They didn't have to worry about them bailing because he was gun shy, like you put it. That's the big problem, and Kenny had a very big issue with that. And you can't have a starting quarterback on your team that's super gun shy like that. You have to stand in there sometimes and have the ability and the nuts to take a hit. And that's why I get to this Arthur Smith thing. When you're running heavy play action, you're turning your back to the defense, turning your back to elite pass rushers inside of the AFC North. You're going to have some nuts. And I felt like Mason Rudolph had those nuts, man. He didn't mind. He was out there doing a damn thing. Foot's big. Did you talk about the Le'Veon Bell thing? No, I didn't. We can though. I think Bell is good enough in good enough shape, cheap enough. Why not give him an option? Yeah, I like him on a 90-man roster or something like that. I don't know if I'd like to bring him into the season. We'll see how he does. I think you got to get him in there, see what he can do. He's going to be 32 when the season starts. I'm not sure if that's the path you want to take in terms of running backs. You got guys like if you're looking to add a big third running back, I'm not sure that Lev Bell's the guy that you want. And I'm not sure you want to mess with that running back room because I felt like Jalen Warren and Najee Harris packed a great 1-2 punch. I think it was a big time running backs room. And I don't think you really want to mess with that chemistry by bringing in a big personality like Le'Veon Bell. And being his age, the amount of hits he's taken, etc., etc., I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Is he even in football shape? I mean, I've heard others talk. That's something, not playing in that game, not playing in the NFL environment, the game speed. You're not used to it anymore. I can't speak to that because I don't play NFL football, but come on. There's got to be an adjustment period there when you're trying to come back. No doubt about it. But he was a hell of a runner in his time, but he basically spit in the Pittsburgh Steelers' face. The Steelers offered him big bucks. It just wasn't fully guaranteed. But they would have paid him. They'd have kept him around. They liked Le'Veon Bell. He would have made some money. He didn't have to go to New York and kill his career, but that's choices we all make, and he made big money there. So it is what it is. Beer Malls, I'm happy about new coordinator. I remember Colin Pickett, check down Kenny, would go with a 5-yard throw in the flat. Yeah, he does do that because what Nova said there earlier, he's gun shy. He's trying to get rid of the ball sometimes a little bit too quick. He's not going through his progressions. He can't see the defense. He's not able to read that defense when he's up at the line of scrimmage. There's big problems with that. And you're going to have to check the shit down. You're going to have to try to figure out how to get rid of it quickly. And you saw those rush check downs. He couldn't even hit those half the time. It was a problem. A big, big, big problem, guys, in my opinion. Charles Warren, I agree. No, that's just my opinion, bro. I do like Le'Veon Bell. Foot's big. I do. I just don't think it's the proper time for him to be coming back. That's just my thoughts. I'm not sure though. We would really have to see how he is once he get into a camp and work with these guys and really see. And two, again, this isn't the same offensive line as once before. You have to block a little differently when you're blocking for a guy like Le'Veon Bell, who hops around, chooses where he's going to go. It's a little bit different variable with Le'Veon Bell back there. It's a different changeup. And with how the Steelers are building their offense, is that going to work? Would that style of runner be effective? Is Le'Veon Bell able to just be a one cut and hit and jam that shit up the hole? That's a big question too, in my opinion. Beer Malls, Foot's big. We loaded at running back. Yeah, hey, if he wants to be like Slash Cordell Stewart, like you said, in the slot, Le'Veon Bell catch a football now. I will say that, but does he have the speed and agility to still do it? That's a question too. Mason was still throwing the ball and looking at the receivers as he had guys on him, and he even completed a throw with someone holding his arm. Yeah, that was from Nova Racer. I agree, dude. Yeah, what was that one? Was that Seattle? Was that in the Seattle game where he delivered that throw to Pickens down the sideline there with somebody crushing him, basically? Is that the one you were talking about, Nova? I think that might be it. But that was a hell of a throw, and to stand in there, the guts that it took to stand in there, that's pretty decent, man, for sure. Beer Malls, 5 receiver set every now and then. You gotta be able to, because that's your large down and distance. That's what you got to go into sometimes. That 4 wide, 5 wide. That's what I was talking about earlier in the show. I'd like to see more bunch formations like they used to do with Ben there, where you got bunch trips, to the left, guy out to the right, single setback, bunch, left or right, things like that to mix it up and confuse the defense. I just don't think I've seen enough exotic formations. I don't know. I was just really bored with our offense last year. But if it would be more effective consistently, maybe I'd have been more happy with it for sure. Beer Mall 5, we did that, Nova. If Lev Bell got in shape and made a try, I doubt Tomlin would allow that distraction on the team for Najee. Yeah, I agree. That's another thing. Like we said, he had his opportunity with Pittsburgh, and Pittsburgh isn't one of those teams that are very, come on back, bro. We forgive you. They're not that type of team. I've not known them to be. I don't know about if you guys remember a time to where somebody's had a major distraction and then been a major distraction and then returned to the team. I don't know if you guys remember of anybody. Uh it's just Beer Mall says he trusts Kenny. It's just I think we need a quality backup plan. I think you need that. You can't go into this season without without a quality backup. If they're going to start Kenny, you have to get a veteran guy. You have to find somebody. It has to be Mason. You're going to have to go out there and find somebody that's reliable. Point out the injuries of Kenny Pickett. 1. Then you see the inconsistencies of Kenny Pickett. 2. How could you be secure with your season to load up a football team, put weapons on there, build up the defense, and not have a guy that can run that offense besides Kenny Pickett? You're asking for real trouble. No doubt about it. JD, is Austin the third wideout now? Well, I believe it was between him and Allen Robinson, which you won't see Allen Robinson back. He's going to be... They get rid of him post June 1. That's $10 million to the good. In my opinion, I don't think they keep him. I don't think production-wise, it warrants keeping him. So I would say, yeah, Austin is wide receiver 3. In my eyes, I'm not sure what you guys think. I think the Steelers need to go out and find another weapon inside of the draft, which they are good at doing. They've been able in years past to find guys in late rounds that are very productive. And there's some good guys out there, some heavy skill guys that could really make a difference, I think, in the late rounds. I'm going to put out my mock draft here this maybe probably beginning of next week. I've been working on it. So I've been noticing some late round wide receivers that you could probably get. I'm going to really do some in-depth thinking about this and try to come up with some good choices for mid to late rounds. I really am going to try to do that. So we'll break that down. But there are some choices out there, and the Steelers need to find somebody else, I believe. They just really didn't utilize Austin in the way I thought that they should. But maybe that's just what his skill set dictated. I'm not sure. Nova Racer, there is no way for a quarterback to still be making his reads when he's on the run. At that point, he has to watch where he's running, and then, yeah, you can't. Dude, there are very few people that are reading defenses as they're running down the field. And when Big Ben scrambled around, that was backyard football. He wasn't reading shit. He's just looking out going, oh, damn, where am I going to chuck it? And he had guys that were good on a scramble drill, and he got it done. That was one thing Ben Roethlisberger did second to none. Big, crazy, shaking people off, running around, scrambling. That was his best quality, in my opinion. I love to see it. I love to watch it. Sorry, I'm reading you guys' comments. I think you're going back and forth. Beer Malls and Nova. Nobody, you think early season was O-line issues for Kenny and they fixed that midseason? I don't know about I know you were talking to Nova there. I don't think it was all line. I think Kenny is just antsy. Happy feet, man. That's my opinion. All right, guys, let's talk two. The Steelers worked out 2 players. I'll get you the names here. Oh, wait, I have them up already. Let's see. Steelers, yeah. Yeah, they worked out 2 tight ends on Monday. They both have connections to Arthur Smith, Dakota Allen, and Parker Hess. Let's see. Let's talk a little bit about them. Let's see. The one was the Falcons. Hess, I believe. Yeah, Hess played for him in Tennessee, I believe. So, yeah, those guys both have connections to Arthur Smith. I'm not sure what the significance of bringing those tight ends in. I'm not sure, but they did work out 2 players. So if Mason is the QB, it brings Austin back into the mix. The reason he wasn't being used is because most of the times he was the third read. Exactly, and Kenny wasn't getting to those third reads. That's a big issue. You did see, though, in the preseason, do you remember the connection that Mason and Calvin Austin had in the preseason? It was a good one. And I just think once Mason got in finally, there wasn't enough time to build that chemistry up. He was behind George, behind Deontay, played limited snaps because Allen Robinson was in there on every damn run play and some pass plays. You guys realize that Allen Robinson was playing like 45 to 50 snaps a game on offense. You can't win like that, not with his limited production out of the slot. You have basically no slot receiver production when he's in there, zero. And that may be what, like Nova's saying here. You're not getting through those reads. You're not able to get to your third, fourth option. You're not able to handle that whenever you're Kenny Pickett. And maybe that's why it was so non existent. But you did see Mason. We'll give him that. He threw it to Allen Robinson, however limited it was. He did throw it to Calvin Austin when Calvin was playing in the slot in the playoff game. He hit him for a touchdown in Buffalo. That was big. So it probably just does depend on the quarterback. Is he able to get through those progressions, able to get through those reads? That's super big, guys. Yeah, and Ben's receivers did never give up. Yeah, it was a different style offense, a different way to play. And the Steelers don't play that style of football right now. Absolutely not. They may be able to, though, with a guy like Mason. Mason can move around, too. He can shuffle around. Foot's big. Big Ben made AB who he was. AB got game, man. AB got game. I'll say that. Yeah, he did put AB on the map, hitting him deep, all that stuff. He gave AB his chance for sure. But AB got some game, man. I don't know. Maybe he could still do it. Dust that off a little bit. I knew Kenny was throwing it too. As soon as it left the huddle, he would stare down who he was thrown to. I never noticed that, Nova Racer. You may be right. I'd have to go back. I'm going to watch that. That's interesting. I would like to see that. I'm going to watch some Kenny highlights just to see, because that's something crazy if he did do that. That's nuts. You can't, not in the big leagues, guys. You can't give away anything. You got to be able to come up there and be exotic. You got to keep the defense guessing. Otherwise, you're going to be hurting for certain, man. You got to be able to check in and out of plays, call these coverages and protections and audibles. You got to be well versed and know what the hell you're doing. It's big, and it's big. And when you don't have the skill set to complete those tasks and you're trying to compensate elsewhere, it just becomes bad. And I think that's why it's bad for Kenny Pickett. I really, really do. Let's see what else we got here. What's up? Oh, last live show, guys. We talked about the Super Bowl. So everybody put in there, who do you guys think, or even if you give two shits about who's going to win. We were talking about that a little bit, the big game. You got all the commercials and shit to look forward to for us, because I guess we really don't care if we're Steeler fans. So, but it is what it is. I will, Nova, for sure, dude. I'm going to. What else? What else are we talking about here? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about the 6 candidates that Alex Kozora from, I think he's like the Post Gazette or something. He reports on the Steelers all the time. What he was talking about, who could possibly be the 6 candidates that he has for the wide receiver coach. He has Hines Ward listed, which probably would be the most discussed option, but I don't think would happen, but we'll see. He has a guy named Bobby Ingram from the Commanders, Sanjay Lal from the Seahawks, Edgar Bennett from the Raiders, Brennan Marion from UNLV in college, and that's it. I'm not sure. I don't really know any of those guys except for Hines Ward and Sanjay. I've heard of him before and what he's done in Seattle with the Seahawks and Geno Smith. He spent some time with the Dallas Cowboys and things of that nature. He would stare them down and kept looking at them as if he was as he was running. That's why guys were wide open and he didn't see them. Yeah, you turned on the all-22. Kenny Pickett missed a lot of open guys. That one Jacksonville game at the beginning, I felt like he missed a ton of open guys before he got, surprise, injured. And we saw a lot of injuries out of Kenny Pickett, man. We saw every time I felt like he would start to make a little bit of progression and start to do some things better, boom, an injury. And you can't have that, man. It's constant. I understand an injury, getting banged up here or there. Ben Roethlisberger got banged up frequently, but he toughed it out. He played. His availability was one, though, that was good. He was on the field. I feel like you can't keep Kenny Pickett on the field steadily. You just can't. Beer Malls. I want San Francisco to win, but I think KC will take it. I do, too. I did make one bet, guys, though. I didn't bet on the game. totally. I can give you the line. I think it's like +2, something like that. Something crazy. The over-under is like 42.5. I made a bet, though, for the Niners, Debo Samuels to win the MVP. So I'm kind of hoping that they pull it out and Debo gets to be the MVP. But it's kind of hard because if Debo's the MVP, that means Purdy probably had a good game. So that might mean he would get it. But we'll see. Who knows? I think Samuels has the opportunity, though, because he can run the football out of the wide receiver spot from the slot and shit like that. If we start 1-3, I say yank him immediately. You talking about Kenny Beer Malls? I think you are, dude. You start 1-3, another horrible start, which we've had several in the past 3-4 years. You, man, that should tell you all you need to know about Kenny Pickett. In my eyes, you can't start 1-3. No, no way. It's just one of those things. I'd be immediately looking to figure out how to get rid of him. Robert Road, Kansas City wins another for the AFC. Yeah, if you're rooting for the conference, no doubt, Kansas City knows how to win football games. They just do. They know how to get it done. And Patrick Mahomes is legit. You look at his numbers versus Tom Brady's numbers, the GOAT. They're pretty similar in their first 6 seasons. Patrick Mahomes is pretty much on pace. I think Patrick Mahomes actually has a better playoff record. I'm pretty sure. Maybe he might. It's pretty close, but their numbers are very, very comparable in terms of their first 6 seasons. And that's probably something, if you're a Kansas City Chiefs fan, you should be pretty pumped up about heading into this Super Bowl. He's been in the conference championship now 6 years in a row, I believe. I don't think he's ever missed it since he's been in the league as a starter. I think he's been in that many consecutively. This is what his fourth Super Bowl appearance. He's already won 2 championships. Dynasty is written all over this Kansas City Chiefs team, and they're getting it done for sure. The Pro Bowl is trash now. No doubt, man. That Pro Bowl shit, it was stupid. I thought some of the skills competitions were fun to watch, but I don't want to watch flag football, guys. I'm not sure about you. In the NFL, I feel like it's leaning toward the flag football shit. Do you know they hired a head of flag football operations at the NFL at the headquarters in New York City? They have now a guy that is the head of flag football, considering it's going to be an Olympic sport in 2028, I believe, something like that. The next Summer Olympics, it's going to be a sport. It's going to be a, wow. I just can't get on board with it. If the NFL ever switches to flag football, you could count on this channel being something way different than talking about football, for sure, because I wouldn't do it. No doubt about it. Beer Malls, I'm happy for McCaffrey. Used to live in North Carolina, or NC. That city loved him. Hope he gets a ring. Yeah, McCaffrey deserves it, dude. He's a beast of a player. Really tough, hard-nosed football player. Runs the shit out of the football. Plays injured, you can tell. Doesn't give a shit. He plays for his teammates, man. He's not caring about personal accolades, and that's something you're really looking for. And I talk about that all the time with the Steelers. You got to have guys that are not selfish. You got to have these guys that play for the team. Nova Racer, what is Kenny going to possibly be able to do between the last game he played and training camp to improve his being scared to stand in the pocket? There's nothing to replicate that NFL pass rush. Absolutely. And in training camp, you could stand in there all day. They're not allowed to hit you. Your coach ain't allowing the defenders to come in and crack your ass as a quarterback on the roster for your team. They're not going to allow you to do that. Yeah, you could stand in there when you know you're not going to get hit. And when you go to training camp, Kenny Pickett wowed me up there at times. Why? Because he could stand in there and he knew he wasn't going to get hit. But 9 times out of 10, the pass rush was there. They just veered off. And he completed a big ball to George Pickens or somebody. And it's just like, it's not real. He didn't have to slide up in the pocket. He didn't have to make any big moves. He didn't have to take any heat. And how exactly, Nova? You can't replicate that. There is nothing that will equip him, nothing that will allow him to learn or get more comfortable with that other than live reps, period. That's just how it goes. You got to have some nuts to play quarterback in the NFL if you're going to be a good one, for sure. Beer Malls. Nova, he needs to stand on I-79 on the middle line and throw footballs. Hey, man, no shit. He definitely learned how to stand in the pocket then. All right, guys, any other topics you guys want to talk about tonight on our Tuesday edition of our live show today? And don't forget to check out our daily uploads. And if you're not subscribed, subscribe, like the video, share, all that fun stuff. I really, truly appreciate you all stopping through here at Mike Drop Sports. It means a lot to me for you guys to come and interact and have a good time talking about football and Steelers and all that good shit. Anybody else? Anything else you guys want to talk about going on with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Anything else in the across the NFL? Anything like that? What about? Oh, here's a good topic, guys. I forgot. The Philadelphia Eagles will be playing their first game ever on a Friday night to open the season in Brazil. How's that? What do you guys think about this international push by the NFL to really try to get the game spread across the world? Is it going to be too drastic of a change? Is it going to change this game so much? What do you guys think about that? Who did Nova Racer? Who did Arthur Smith have as a QB coach in Tennessee? Good job. I'm not sure. With Fox, ESPN, and someone else. Yeah. I'm not sure who he had, Nova. I'd have to look it up. I got the computer here. I could look it up. But what do you guys think about that? The international push. What do you guys think about a game in Brazil? Do you think it's a good one? Do you think that's too far to travel? Look, if you're a Philadelphia Eagles fan, I agree, JD. I want to keep it in the U.S. I think that makes it special. I think it keeps it something unique to the United States. I think it gives the game a little bit of a uniqueness. But that's just me. I think traveling, if you're an NFL team, clear to Brazil to play a damn football game on a Monday or on a Friday, then you got to turn around and you got to freaking come the whole way back to the United States. You can't tell me that that is not going to affect your following week's game. You can't tell me that the amount of travel in order to get there is not going to be affecting your performance in Brazil. It's just crazy. No, but it's down to a few teams to play the Eagles in Brazil, and we're one of them. I heard that too, Nova. Is that not crazy? I thought that too, but I wasn't 1,000% sure. Yeah, that's just nuts. I don't think the Steelers would really be down for that, man. Remember when they played in Ireland? Yeah, Beer Malls, it's getting out of control with these international games. I agree. Let's look up who Arthur Smith's quarterback coach was in Tennessee. Let's see here. Let's see. Arthur Smith, quarterback coach in Tennessee. Let's see if we can find out. I can't find it. Arthur Smith's coaching tree. No. Was it Jim Zorn, maybe? Yeah. I think it might have been like Jim Zorn or something like that. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to do some research on that. Maybe you guys can look that up. I can't find it right now. I think it's going to be more of who Smith is going to want. I hope the Steelers do fully allow Arthur Smith, and I think they really are, guys. I think the Steelers are truly allowing Arthur Smith to come in and build his own staff on the offensive side of the football. And I think that is the smartest thing that they can do. Allow him to get his guys. You want him to be as comfortable as hell with the people that he wants. Is Eddie Faulkner going to stay? Probably. Rumor has it Mike Sullivan's going to be staying. Okay. Now we know Frisbin Jackson's out. Okay, that's a good one because I thought he wasn't very good. But he needs to be able to add people to his staff that he is comfortable working with. And that is just, I think, the biggest variable in all this. And I think the Steelers are letting that happen. I really, really do. There's several interviews lined up. And just because these guys interview for one particular position on this offensive coaching staff, that doesn't mean that when they interview that candidate, if they don't get that job, that they're automatically out. They could offer an extended job to a guy and say, hey, come on back and be an analyst, be a quality control coordinator for the offense, things of that nature. And that can only mean good things, in my opinion. Robert Road standing in the middle line of I-79. That is up there with driving a race car with a live cougar in the car with you. Yeah, Talladega Nights. Yeah, for sure. Beer Malls. The Steelers playing had issues returning from the West Coast and had to stop in KC on the way home. Yeah, imagine them going to damn Brazil, bro. Or play my yeah, no shit. Yeah, no doubt, dude. It's crazy. I can't get on board with that, guys. I remember him playing in Ireland. I'm cool with the England games and shit here and there. I'm even cool with a game in Mexico City, like even though it's like super high in the air, it's like kind of like a Denver type thing. I don't know. I just can't get on board with it all. JD, are we going to have a victory formation play for what? All this season? Yeah, they usually don't get to do that. They're usually playing down to the last minute. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining me tonight, too. And don't forget to like and subscribe if you're not already. Anything else you guys want to talk about with your Steelers, with the NFL, any of this international stuff, any of the coaching things, anything going on that you guys want to talk about? I did see one thing. Taylor Lewan, the Tennessee Titan offensive tackle, I think he still plays. I think he's still down there. Really praised the Pittsburgh Steelers for going out and getting Arthur Smith. He is very respected, guys, throughout the NFL, even by the players in Atlanta. That wasn't the problem. I think that Arthur Smith did well enough with his players. I think that they respected him. I think that they enjoyed being around him. And I think that that's a good sign for the Pittsburgh Steelers offensively. I think that that could mean good things. I really, really do. Camden Smith, should the Steelers sign Bell? Now, we talked about that. I don't know. I think you could bring him in, bro. I do. I just think that you'd have to really see how it goes and see how the Le'Veon Bell situation would work out. You'd have to, there's a lot of variables at play there, and it's really hard for something to say. Or JD, anything on Tomlin extension? I haven't heard anything. I don't know about anybody else in the chat. I think he's going to work off of this 1 year deal, and I really do think this is going to be a definitive year for him, and I think it's going to tell him himself like whether he wants to keep going. And I think he has a contract for as long as he wants it. I really, really do. I think he's that tight with the Rooneys. And the Rooneys are super loyal, and the Steelers franchise as a whole, and loyal to a fault at times. And I think Mike Tomlin basically has a contract for as long as he wants it. And I think this year is going to be telltale for him. And does he build enough here with Arthur Smith? Does he build enough with his team and show enough promise that it'd be worth going, you know? That's a big thing. Should the Steelers put in Rudolph? Hell yeah, man. They should sign him for sure, Easton. We'll see how it goes because I think it'd be a good price. I think they'd still be in a good shape with the cap after they do their restructures, make some cuts, find some available cap space, and I think bringing in Mason Rudolph, a guy that can win games, get you out of stadiums, and be consistent and put up some numbers. I think that Mason Rudolph would be a good addition back to the Steelers organization, at least for a couple years. You know, see how it goes. Anything on Watt? No, he didn't play in the Pro Bowl, Jackson Herrick. He did not play in the Pro Bowl due to injury. Yeah, he could have played in Baltimore if the Steelers would have won against Buffalo. But, yeah, he did not play due to that knee injury. So I think he's just rehabbing, and I think all was well. Nova Racer, this was the first time I ever heard Rooney say that Tomlin has to produce and he won't be there. You may be right, man. Maybe he's getting fed up too. I just think he's so tight. They're tight, man. Hopefully, though, Rooney wisens up, and if Mike Tomlin's not going to put the numbers up there, not going to have more production in the postseason, then it's time to go. It really, really is. Mr. Dingleberry, hey, good name, man. I think we should trade up and get Bo Nix. I don't like that, man. Maybe it may work. If you got to be super sure, you trade up to grab a quarterback, you got to be sure it's a home run, man. You really, really do. You cannot have any doubt in your mind. So maybe, man, that might be an option. Steelers, Chris, go Steelers. No doubt. Go Steelers. Easton, do you think Najee Harris will get traded? I do not. I think that Mike Tomlin is absolutely in love with Najee Harris, and he is productive. He can do some things. I think his beginning of the year problems are self inflicted kind of deal, but as the season moves on, he does some good things. He can carry a football team at times, and that's a good thing to have. And especially as the offensive line gets better, I think and the quarterback play possibly gets better, where the teams can't load up the box. I think that only spells good things for Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren as we move through. Q Barton, what's up? What's up, bro? Mr. Malone, do you think that the offensive coordinator sub is good enough to be full time? What do you mean? Do you think that this offensive coordinator sub is good enough to be full time? I'm not sure what you're trying to say there, bro. Elaborate for me, please. Javier Cortez, Steelers are good. I hope so. PS4L, Q-Bar, Nova Racer, they have to be pissed with how the offense played after Mason was put in when Tomlin has been so stubborn. He never even let him have a chance. It opened their eyes. That's a puzzle to me, guys. How does Mason Rudolph sit in a building for 6 years and doesn't get an opportunity, continually gets bypassed, but yet he's on that roster for 6 years? You have enough faith in him that you can bring him back and keep signing him back to the team, but yet you're not giving him the opportunity to succeed. That's a disservice to Mason, in my opinion. What's up, Javier? What is your opinion on the Super Bowl? I say bet the Chiefs, man. I did make a bet, though, with Debo being the MVP just because I wanted to have high odds and win some bucks. Devin Shear, is the culture dying? Is it? That's a question everybody should answer. Is the culture of the Steelers dying? I don't think so. I think it can be brought back. I think wearing that logo on the side of your helmet, I think could still mean some shit, man. All right, let's keep going. Q Barton, is Kenny the one? I don't think so. That seems to be the general consensus, but you never know. Steelers Chris is picking a bust. In my eyes, yes, but I'm not sure yet. We'll see how it goes. I just don't see. We were talking earlier in the show. I don't see how he gets any better from now until next season. I just don't. Nova Racer, you put in there too. How does that happen? And I don't think it can. I'm just not sure where you find that. How do you work him out doing the things that he needs to get better at? I just don't see it, and it's going to be hard. And he's going to have. What are they just going to keep willing him out there and expecting a different result? I'm not sure. What do you think about Deontay Johnson? I love him, man. DJ's a good player, man. He can run some good routes for sure. Mr. Dingleberry, picking Rudolph is not the QB of the franchise. I think Rudolph could be. I really do. Muffin, let's go Steelers. Let's go, bro. Beer Malls culture. We got culture pouring out our ass. Quote from the movies. Yeah, I like your quotes, Beer Malls. Nova Racer. Stubborn Tomlin didn't want him drafted, so he refused to let him play. He saw Mason win the QB competition 2 seasons ago. You heard a lot of talk of that, guys, up at Lake Trobe. All the people that are up there watching practice every single day said that Mason Rudolph won that competition and that he looked the best. How do you overlook that? How do you not give the guy the shot that looked the best, that earned it? I agree. Elite, should we replace Pickett? Hell yes. Skeleton 13. Thanks for coming, brother. Javier, do you think the Steelers are going to win next season? I don't think they'll win the Super Bowl, but hopefully they'll get better. Mr. Malone, is Pickens better than A.J. Brown? I don't know, dude. A.J. Brown's a good player. I think Pickens has a skill set that's diverse, that really is good and could be special if given the right opportunity with a quarterback like Mason was giving him those opportunities. I think he could put up monster numbers, and I think he could be one of the best in the NFL. But A.J. Brown is one of them freaks, dude, for sure. Q Barton, he's just not a turnover type of player. He likes to sit and observe the field. He has to get the ball out more quicker, though, in my eyes, in my opinion. We were talking earlier, dude. Kenny don't read the field at all. He misses too many open guys, and that's a problem. He bails on clean pockets. He just doesn't analyze and break down the NFL game speed fast enough in his QB mind. He just doesn't do it. He can't do it. At least right now he can't. Skeleton, what do you think about George Pickens? Monster. JD Mason showed maturity after they picked Kenny. He did. He really did. Mason has always been a teammate, and that rings through everybody in that building. Says how good of a teammate Mason has been throughout the years, his tenure and his long tenure. He's one of the longest tenured Steelers right now, and has gotten the limited amount of opportunity that he has, and it's puzzling. Um, George Pickens won't be in Pittsburgh much longer. You never know if he had bad attitude again next year. They would not care. And you got to watch. The Steelers don't pay receivers typically big money. When they paid AB that money, that was a rarity. They typically don't go out there. They paid Hines Ward a little bit. But hey, it is what it is. Let's get Nova Racer. Hell yes, Pickens is as long as Mason is his QB. Yes, I agree, no doubt. Hey, Beer Moss, thank you, brother. Kenny is a deer in the headlights. Thank you. Yeah, he is. Absolutely, bro. What do you think of the draft this time? Uh, that was from Q Barton. I think, guys, let me be 1,000% honest with you guys. I really don't like any crazy picks. I don't want the Steelers to go out there and grab a skill player or anything like that. I don't even want them to go get a DB in the first round unless it's somebody that you absolutely can't pass on. I want them to make a combination of picks in the first and second round. I want them to either grab a center in the first round or an offensive tackle and vice versa for round two and with pick 51. So they're pick 20 in round one. You got to go out and get one of those big offensive tackles. I think you could still have some guys around that are really game changing tackles around pick 20, unless there's a big run on them before that. But maybe then you take that center, Jackson Powers Johnson, or yeah, I think that's his name, Jackson Powers. I think that's who you really need to get, or Zach Frazier in round two if he's available. Maybe both the centers fall to the second round. Get one of those centers and do whatever it takes to get one of them. But you have to get another tackle. And maybe Dan Moore can progress and get better at run blocking. His pass pro is okay at times. I don't know. I just don't think he's an all-around good player in my eyes. I don't think Dan Moore Jr. is it. Daddy, Steelers are worse than the Seahawks. They beat the Seahawks, bro. How are they worse? Geno looked good, though. I like Geno Smith. Javier Cortez, 1 to 10. Fitzpatrick. Q Barton, another cornerback. I don't like a cornerback pick there. I think this cornerback class in the 2024 draft is deep enough that you could get a quality guy in the mid rounds, mid third, fourth. I think you could grab a guy then. I think you could get a quality guy then. Don't forget about Corey Trice. I think he could do big things if healthy. I think that guy Rush. I think he could do okay if given an opportunity. Maybe they re-sign a guy like Levi Wallace, which I don't know if I'm on board with that. There's just a lot of things, guys. There's a lot of variables in these drafts that really make it hard. Center for show. I like the center. I like the center pick. Just think if we had better receivers, we would have a team also a center. I think you need to go out and find a third wideout maybe in the late rounds. That would probably help. Put Dan at left guard. Maybe. I don't know. But he definitely supposedly can't play right, and I think Broderick Jones being your left tackle is where he needs to be. Broderick Jones is young, super large, high ceiling for great things, and I think he got to be there. Beer Malls, yeah, Jason, I'm oblivious on the up in the corners in this draft. I'm coming to the mic drop for my info, bro. Thanks. I'm going to do some info, bro. I'm going to get this draft broken down next week. Like I said, I've been doing some heavy research on it. I got names written down. I got like 6 pages in a notebook of notes that I've been writing on this damn draft. So when Sean and I do our draft night show, which come and join us for that, guys. if you want to have something, we're going to have some fun, man. And hopefully by then, I'll have this live caller thing worked out to where you guys are going to be able to call in and we're going to have an awesome draft night show. We're going to make it special. We're going to do some fun shit. I'm going to have a lot of stuff, a lot of info. No Wallace. I don't like Wallace either, bro. Javier Quadrins, I can't hear you crying. You're so scared and all alone. I don't know what you're saying, Javier, bro. Easton, do you also like the Dolphins a little bit? No, bro. Dolphins suck. Two it blows. Q Barton, all I see is his back of his jersey, Wallace. Yeah, because he's constantly running down. Yeah, he's getting smoked. Re-signing Wallace is a typical Steeler thing to do. Amen. No, I agree. I'm not down for it. Michael the God, do you think Minka Fitzpatrick is best free safety in the league? I don't know, bro. Maybe. Could be. He's pretty good. Last year he's so beat up, it's hard to tell. Beer Malls, nice fellas, nice. Let's see. Mr. Malone, do you think we played better than the Bills in that game and just fell into a trap of luck? No, they didn't play better than the Bills. The defense got smoked, man. That's just the way it was. The offense started out a little rugged. Mason made a big mistake down there. That could have been 7. But they were right back in it. They were down 1 touchdown. The defense failed there. And that's a Mike Tomlin so-called gut check moment. A moment where you cut your eyelids off. And his defense didn't do that. And I know it was minus TJ Watt. So that's just what happens. TJ, what is a good defender? TJ is a good defender for sure. That song that the Steelers play. Oh, okay. Sorry, dude. I didn't know what you were talking about, Javier. Sorry, I get you now. Mr. Malone, no TJ, no win. Agreed. No doubt, man. Hey, Steelers fan, Harrison. Nice. All right, guys. Anything else you guys want to talk about? If not, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you all again for joining me. We've been going for about an hour, so this has been a pretty long live show. Don't forget to join us tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time here on Mike Drop Sports, and Sean will be joining me tomorrow for another live show. Hopefully we'll have some exciting things kick off in Steelers world. If not, I'm going to do some draft stuff and kind of make up some topics here for us to enjoy and talk about and dig into the Steelers world a little bit as we move forward through this offseason. All right. If Kenny didn't get our defense killed all season trying to recover for his... Yeah, he did get them beat up, dude. They were on the field a ton. Nothing is better in sports. Go Bills. They beat the Steelers. They did. They beat the shit out of the Steelers. They dominated. The Steelers got back in it, though, for sure. They were there. They are only 1 touchdown down. What do I think? Q Barton, you like Smith? Hell yeah, I do. I like Arthur Smith. I didn't at first because I wanted the Steelers to hire one of them geeks, one of them super geeks out there that, just different. But the more I look at Arthur Smith, I really like him. I really, really do. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. Thank you, JD. I appreciate it, buddy. All right. All right, guys, I'm going to wrap it up. I appreciate you all again. So thank you so much. And look out for our regular show in the morning tomorrow on our daily uploads. Don't forget to go check those all out. You can rewatch them now. You can rewatch the lives, all that fun stuff also. And join us tomorrow, Sean and I, live at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, we will have a live show Friday. Sean will be joining me again. That will also be in the evening. So come on back and check us out and have fun talking. And also, guys, we can talk anything. Put it in the chat, whatever the hell you want to talk about. We don't discriminate here at Mike Drop Sports. So enjoy the rest of your evening. And until next time, peace, guys. Thank you.